Radio Samupe Jumpe Bietia Timothy non Koto Era one radio and Pampuma Asam Pampuma and Ratumuma Era one Yebo Pampuma.
We omandishe momajumo makwaba deba Yensom jumedie so ene ejoda enyumre ewo East Coast of United States of America, Maryland to be precise, and ye free enyumre ya yedi Yensom jumedie ebremo meka mo se mo som Kobby and amatre dwemo a mede Yensom jumedie ebremo sabri se o pese woni endi dwuma no a obetumi akọ Facebook a na ohwehwe Era One Radio TV a onsa bekan ho sara nso na obetumi akọ YouTube nso okọ a onsa betumi akan ho onso okọ a wahwehwe Era One Radio TV na afi wa subscribe na wa click adoma so se de be ya bibia to ha onsa beka eneyi ensem bebre na edi atrantwie ewo oman ni mu na yebefa bre na yahwe emu ba komienu bi a medwen se ebeboa anase ehuhia se wo se yekeka eho asem na etumi eboa ye na da bia se de meka no Ghana no ye nyina ye de na ye nyina nso na yebetumi aye bribi de aboa enye politicians ni leaders no kwa na betumi aye bibi as individuals, as citizens of the country no yenso ye wo part to play ewo sebe eniema bia ekoso ewo oman no emu we sede yamamretie no enenso yebeda obi ase na ene no aseda no yama parliamentarians ni bia fine ene de aseda ye de kono ye de koma His Excellency John Dramani Mahama papa no ayade bia it goes to reinforce some of the discussions ayanya wo Yensom so in the past. And I remember say discussion we were talking about the fact say we should stop politicizing business. Say bia aban bi ba power na onim say business bi ewura obi or link it to the opposition and I say the opposing party they find every means to collapse his business. Enti me kai say me yes argument no me di yewura Dangote and I say ononyamfo Dangote na me de no emfato ho say Nigeria governments aba abesia akọ but me who say government business aka yewura Dangote and I san example nso say in China no it was a deliberate effort say omobeye no mo businessmen bi etumi aye billionaires and millionaires said the beya ebetumi aboama economy no akoyie aden obi beka sare na meka sa ye nyina yenim say yenua Boris B chicken papa ya oye nkoko bebre na o process e supply e wo Ghana no obi anim say oye stanch MPP member. Enti under normal circumstances no said ye yaye no bra etwamu no enka president of the republic no has no business going there. And I say has no business visiting his company. But President His Excellency John Dramani Mahama call Kumasi ko lanche enkoko nketen no. He requested say yemfa no nko Boris B farm so ho. And I think said they arranged with him. Na papa yi call Boris and I said President call Boris B Boris B chicken factory ho ekoye to ma Boris ankasa ekyerɛkyerɛ no processes ne ade ye wie ye no nyese process ne keke o omo san grille akokɔ nam na omo twitwa ne bi grille under normal circumstances no for security reasons no such things na ni say president no kura touch na ode na no ka but as usual and as a clean heart man and as a loving person that he is, now onim say he's doing the great he's doing the what he can do to revive the country, and that his people in life because of, and I say on care about in life that much, of akoko nam no bi no we obi beka say oh we dey enye bia se minu mienu ye ni mileage a president na sa single act na oyeye no ode ama Boris B chicken a ye kai say back in 2016 when Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency the former president, flag bearer edema you can say the MPP na okonom kalipo mileage as ade na oyeye de ma kalipo back then no na nya asem kitwa. The president went there, tasted some of the chicken, no, and who said the packaging was very nice. There and then, no, the president turned to the Greek minister and then told him, say, look, one minister, no, minister of education, any school feeding secretariat, no, monkasa munliezi, namun order chicken, no, from him, so we can use the school feeding money, no, to pay him. The president said it. A brand president ne can't say no. I started clapping my hands for him because I keep telling you guys, say, and I say, me catch them debia, me tea for debia, say, me nye politics, and nye politics in tina ye jumedie we nye platform for politics. I say, ye come a political party back on ye political party back on Debbie. We are looking at a minor in Kosovo. And he said a whole president can visit Obia nim say or ye the strong member of the opposition party. Now one ko keke wasankra instruct to say yen hwe na yani omon school feeding for no enhyase en order omon kokọ ekokọ nam a omode feeding kwala no emfiri ho. And is so big, so huge. And I think, say, all those Ghanaians are almost a president Nasem na was support to president, should make it as part of you say going forward, they will start getting their chickens from Boris B chicken. In any case, say it to me, sir. Ebe buano ama wa expande. Apart from say expansion no kura no, obe employ nipa more, and that can help develop the local economy. Kumasi economy na Owomu Ashanti region economy no can help to develop it. I was really surprised in the first president they call because in the past no, enka onwani handless cry because say where the opposition need you don't have to go there because when you scatter the back of support opposition for. But President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, se me hwe no a na me hwe niema all year since he came to power for the last 11 months na me hunu se okotena afie no wasua bribi. And that I like his posture. I like the way he's doing his demeanor and the way he's doing things, and the fact that he keeps saying, say, the legacy term, to be making sure, say, obey some kind of great legacy, the amount of mine. This is what we are all looking for. This is what we are all looking for. I think it's good, and we must all applaud. So we are NDC ni na ebia ofa na say ade na president na anko NDC ni bi factory and as one call NDC ni bi poultry farmer ho be me nwanwa because Boris B chicken common e Ghana obi anymore. He has already established, and he say president no call such individuals no, and even he sent a political signal say he's no more a president for NDC, but he's a president for Ghana. Debi America says you elected as a president, you cease to belong to your political party. Though party now use as a vehicle, they be the president there, but then you are not governing only your political party members. And President Mama, obia or benya video obia betimia afọwede amano say yen on around radio no ye say ye dana say e was sa step na oteki ye say obeko Boris B chicken na wakomo that is a big mileage na abino President Diama Boris B chicken no somebody who unye marketing oriented now unye business oriented no will not understand that act. But I'm sure say Boris Ankasa eda obedenya me as president eba ho, because the president comes there, and remember there are cameras not only from Ghana but even from West Africa and outside Ghana that follows the president wherever he goes. In this film no, and as a particular video no, me who say Ghana so many radios are commenting on a show you know the advert, the man cannot pay them who can say fan say yes Boris into ska Emma all the radio and TV stations in Ghana no yes advert now obenye ska dia onya, but because the president went there no a creating news and you kind of say indirectly no, so that is the word I needed, the indirectly no, now he's the president is advertising Boris B chicken. So and this is the way I always caution say as a country, you know, this is the way our leaders should be seen to be acting. Say we are no, as soon as we are elected, we are no more for our political party, but we are for everybody. And I think this is good. And the President Mama, yedawase pa, you are showing the way, and you are leading in such a way, say, after you know, whoever comes to lead, you know, will try to emulate and maybe surpass what you are doing now. And it's very interesting. Meaning Emmanuel Akot, young Pan-Africanist, or I think Uganda. My friend, a couple of videos are this guy wants to meet the president of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, because he thinks say and in some president no or UN and in near president no or Ghana say no is like Pan-Africanist nature of a Pan-Africanist nature. I wish say President John Dramani Mahama beto in Safre Abofrano na ordinaba Ghana na washiano na Abofrano kuma atone because he's yearning to meet the president of the Republic of Ghana, and I think the education minister as well, Honorable Aruna Idrisu. Enti Honorable Aruna Idrisu say so ti menka bomodin say mobeye hu bibi na mo invite Abofrano. I think say so bagana obe ebe ne depa. Enti yenye sadie no, and I look at the guy the first time who say a primary school guy, and I was shocked because I thought he was in senior, maybe secondary JHS or secondary school or something, because the kind of knowledge that guy espoused, no, is great. It's great. Enti no President Mahama bra yɛbɔ aba so no na yɛsan ka sɛ Emmanuel Accord sɛ Ugandan young boy no sɛ mobɛtumi ama no aba Ghana na wabɛhunu sɛdeɛ Ghana teɛ na ɔne mo abɛnya nkitahodie a ɛbɛboa. Adeɛ baako nso a President Mahama ayɛ a I think say it's worth talking about. And so they say what direct say henceforth. Yes, asemo last na me kan waha. You see, me kan say you betumi develop ye agri sector na ye here say government no dey purchasing power ebe share agri sector nim. Apart from say yama farmers ni input ni bibia yama omo no, we must also look at using the government purchasing power, because in Ghana no government know the huge purchasing power, and we must begin to use the government purchasing power no, to influence such program to say you can say feed Ghana and say for no. And then local rice farmers na aye emo ama ebuso ama emo bag aba fomo aba 450 Ghana cedis. So a bronzo aba form. So President Mahama is saying say going forward no, he has directed say all caterers, all masters, everybody involved in the school feeding should buy locally produce materials such as grains such as maize, rice, and chicken, eggs. They say nkusua kura na omsi ebuama price na ba form. And you or see now no obia or supply school feeding for no any man and making sure say or the Ghana in mo Ghana bro and a Ghana nkoko and a Ghana nkusua na be serve nkola no. I think say aside that also no, the government has also given the buffer stock about 100 million Ghana cedis to buy back the maize and other grains now. You kind of say abundant and say the bear a bit me stabilize the price na price no sanko low too much Emma farmers no. Now in the lean season, Oma unleash those things into the market. Now and also abuama higher prices no so stabilize. Said the bear ordinary Ghanaian no so bet me enya aduane edi. I think say these are some of the things when a leader is doing it, then you realize say the leader means business and he's doing something to help his people. So I think say those two things now, president akase omunye apart from Boris Hono Okoye any saying so president akase yemfa Ghana farm produce na yemfa feedi enkwala no. I think it is good. And then oma kofa cheaper rice other country because of the stability of the cedi and strength of the cedi again ama foreign ones na cheaper no, it will be there for them. And so reduce more in order and as I say almost it will make sure say be reduce further, because and I say almost be jai and as be reduce import no. Sana mpese make be reduce import na de air bano. Some of them are even smuggled into the country because now they might not get the market as it used to. Now ya try say because media me can be me say all the initiatives now president any agri minister person say pay market for the you can say farmers now. But it will come back to hurt us. And I said it will come back to hurt the farmers because what will happen is it will discourage them and they will not invest into agric anymore. You bet me decide say the government neka say obema agric obe empower agric development bank. Now I shall say ama so loans with low interest at the ama farmers. No, if we do all that and the farmers produce and we cannot sell it, and they cannot sell it, a be a problem. One of the farmers I mean who in the video or see last year harvest almost year no and sign and I say yen toy and I almost sign expecting bumper harvest this year and also this year harvest no so year even more than they experienced last year, because last year rainfall no was not all that good, but this year no it was a little bit better. And you see a more he was scared. Oh, and they were asking the government to come to their aid, but once our president announced we no, I think say and pennyfu no a hona problem no, they should not take the money and go and do said buffer stock for allegedly you see no, it shouldn't happen like that. Go to the farmers, buy their stuff, keep it. Na ebreno ekose niema no bo no there na ya sign the above market no na abe balance price no na just say timamufo no so ho atom na enkoba say edu bibia na ne boayefo na fe bedu baabi no na emo a Ghana rice a ebia 450 no na ebia bedu baabi na akobe 800. Good for the farmers, but the question is it good for the citizenry? And the government no should play that role now. Play no. Now it's very, very important. Ade ba nso a President John Dramani Mahama aka na I think say finance minister nso koye budget koka budget no or no so retreat ni budget ni mu no say they are planning to open 11 farmer centers in 2026. And these farmer centers, no, omo ebe equip no with tractors, harvesters, plows, any niema ekeka ho. Na omo pe technicians betimi repair those equipment, those machinery no. Na fins omo pe operators. Omunimde. Enti as a farmer, no, if you need all some of this equipment, you just go there, arrange with them, and then if you have the money, you pay. If you don't have the money, they can let you use it. Na why bibia until say edutamo we harvest ni bibia wi a uton na you pay back the money. And I think it's a nice idea. It's a form of a loan because it's equipment and they help farmers. No? But as I'm saying, it's or say almost started with 11, but I'm expanding it to about 50 throughout the country. But the American say, sa expansion in Yama we are no. Say in Yanaba na se yeni yentumi enya wona wobeto nuane no a, that is where the problem comes in. But I think say with this Saudi Qatar deal now, say we will grow and then they will some of the things that amuntimi nua no bedua and then we export it to them no. I think say yebetumi tie in sa deal no with other things are president no agric ministry no egusu na etumi aboa ama yako yenim said ye be ya ebeboa ma bibia ye bia no akọ anim na yehu se oman no ye ye ade a eye na ebetumi aboa ye ade ba nso a Abba recently, I think I'm happy about it, which I think I have to share and we have to talk about it here. Say, the problem of galamsey has ended up destroying most of our forest. And then the question was, how do we reclaim these lands? And how do we make sure say sans aseno yebetumi aye na yebeye na aye ni ye and as yebetumi asan asiesie no. In that direction no, the president has directed the finance ministry say increase budget to youth employment for now recruit forest repairing and blue water guards. So forest repairing for no, I think this is president ni year. What they want to do, they say they're going to reclaim, but then what they will do, they say some of the areas they will plant cash crops. They will plant crops a bit to me say cash crop me can say crops are to say tree crops are a bit to me am my income now at the same time no as an occupied land no na to me I am line no I okay. In that vein no and I make us say last time maybe 3 months ago no or 4 months ago I talked about how as a country you started oil palm na ya do baby ma Indonesia for any ade befa call ya and no omo ye omo de no ko anim na ye de no de ya say no enti no government no assign a decide say through the 2026 budget no sika to ho they want to go back into oil palm plantations. And to me, I think say scientists check it na omuhunu say ye dua abene na sefo no was reclaim lands ni bi so na enya effect with fruits ne so a we can go ahead and can betimi di abeno edua abeno was reclaim land no so but scientists ne hwe na omo hwe say bia ye produce a ebetimi anya chemical bi wo mu a then there are lands available in Ghana. Ade ba ko amehunu wo Ghana ne say bebia wo de abebesi bia no eyeye usi dan kwa na ujasi wo che na abeketo abi fifiri mu abohu say na ayeye. And I think say the government should focus on these projects, and then this time around I will recommend say yenya no to say the Cote d'Ivoire 4 year no abiribi na meka no yenya major farmers, and then we have smallholder farmers as well. And it's that smallholder farmers no and bibia ye to bia ye tofi major farmer no ho, but then major farmer no so smallholder farmers ni na edi omoniema no bebre ono, then we buy from there. Because se offer palm tree na said you see one and say palm oil na a big industry, because it is used in ice cream, it's used in so many things. And a very good say government side initiative now or person or launch 2026 no focus no making sure say they are doing it, because in the past aboa say most of enwa yedi Ghana ebi fi Togo, ebi fi as far as Indonesia honum na ebi fi oba, and even the industrial ones now you use Ghana dey soap na say for no ebi kura fi Indonesia na say for na eba ye import ba. So there is a huge market for palm oil, billions of dollars. So it is about time Ghana ye cut part of that sikano na yenso yede ye mine no yie. Our reliance on cocoa no say yetumi ye palm nut no palm not can say no yie a industry no yie a ebetumi ama yen over reliance on gold and cocoa no aba form. Na afei akoye say ya diversify nti baako price ba form a baako price wo soro. For now no we are enjoying increased prices in cocoa and gold. But ye nyina yenim say tobri bi a those commodities no prices no etimi ba form. Sara nso na palm oil no I know say enye say ye turn abeno raw, but we convert it into palm oil, into industrial palm oil enkrofo betumi e aye one say niam bebre na wo palm oil no mu a ye ka say ye ni yie say the government no pese ye na ebetumi aboa ama yakọ yanim. Sesei adeɛ baako a ɛno nso na otwi na edi ehim na ɛkɔ ɛba ɛyɛ sɛ yɛse Ghana ɛyɛ what do you call it? They say Ghana ɛyɛ the 6th rank producer of gold in the whole world. And I think so almost second in Africa. It's a good news. But the other side, the flip side of it, they say, ye good na, ye be second or 6th in the world na, ye can. Second in Africa and kind of say 6th in the world, no. Are we doing responsible mining? That is a question I will ask. Because you and I know, say, nya problems bebree ewo galamsey fight yi ho, to the extent say even now some citizens of certain areas kra no any naimos fight it. So in all the ye ka say now no ye rank high no, we should also think about how to do the mining responsibly, so that the effect may so bad to the extent say you behu say ye nsuo ahodo aye polluted ye finding solutions and means to correct them no may sa, because then say nya say sika ni nyina na say at the end of the day no health issues in the country nso raise here ye the scanner ba ye the same scanner ye nya no abesa be share health facilities mo de ahwesa nipa no, and yebedu baby ni yebenya so many handicapped people in the country to the extent say your work your labor force crowd will be affected. And to me no, it's good say your rank no kosoro in terms of good production, but then mpanimfo nhwe say we are doing it responsibly. Na nkoye say ye dey say nsuo ye dey say nkwaye ene na se for tete sa no. And I will appeal to the government, say as early as possible, yen repeal sa law no a emakwan emayeko forest mutimi koye prospecting yen enkwashil sa law no, because as soon as we do that, then one step into protecting our forest, because then beyond that, anybody caught in the forest, even though now cry chain of forest no galamsey law no ye be sentencing into prison term no, this but say obi or genuine license na say or also or forest no mu ye adwuma, what do we do then? Because the law allows them to go in there. And I think say as early as possible no yen hwe say ye be kwashe law no, so see repeal law na e betumi aboa ama naimos fighting na omo fighting no etumi akọ enim. Sese deɛ mahunu sɛ yɛn mpanimfoɔ asɛ da biara na meka sɛ leadership is very important. The way a President Mahama ɛyɛ ne nneɛma no nti no, I see say it's coming down. It's like it's trickling down to the appointees and in nneɛma for the first time. Accra Metropolitan Assembly are arrested 12 traders. Omo bɔne ne sɛ ɔmo ɛyɛ nneɛma bi a ɛmfa ahonodie ɛma because they have decided say ɔmo bɛ crack it down wɔ indiscipline nkurɔfoɔ yɛ in terms of sanitation no. Nti no, they arrested 12 traders at Agbogboleshi market. And I know say AMA were sanitation court. And they taking them there, find them, and get them to pay. So it will serve as a deterrent to others. And you know, me can't be say, you see, Metie finance minister at forcing recently after presenting a budget, na said they all call station to explain a near man. I listen to him all the time, and all the time one of the caveats, and I said one of the key things are, or can I say, leaders will lead, but they will need the support of all the citizenry. And it is the viewer, me Amiti must share over the years. And I on this program, since we started, I've been talking about it all the time. Even say me signing out krana, say mo behwe me ka de bia say o man ye nyina ye dia. Usom na me so mu a ebetimi ama na ye. And the leaders will lead. But then if the citizenry are not willing to do the right things now, no matter what the leaders will do, it will still not work well. But then the good thing is every society yehu say society na aye straight and nyema nyina ko yie no because of the fact say they apply the laws to the latter. Chop ni baby. So and if they have started doing this, may have started yes nyema we are manage ho. I think say me who say Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly so KMA so yet similar thing with King Zuba. They are doing similar things. Say they are cracking down on insanitary conditions because say Oshe Sika spending Eddie cleaning chronoma amount for sign a year fin gumunoa. A hard drain. Sometimes a minimum attitude ne say, oh, say a Zoom lion for mopra and I will nipo mopra, some fan to form one. Better than almost woman Jumae. But that is not the issue. That's not the issue. Say Kayena no ye di hunia for no ebianka they can do other things in terms of sanitation no may say de biano on pra market. Sometimes especially lorry stations no so pon anajo now now share the kind of a fear good lorry stations wa you ask yourself say ye fear san ye no ana. I am all yes with if no you kind of say AMA said they should continue doing that and continue to crack down. Said the Ashanti region no omo enye sa pepe. Church of Pentecost assign SC modern prisons ebium. Na I think that the last time I almost see the first one now almost people were complaining say asori na de omu bi adwuma na say asori no nsi baby baba bi na omu ko see prison. I don't person crofoko prison na. But then the church has come out to defend say whatever we do no enipa bi be ko prison you can't force it. You be preach, you be bibia. It's a natural phenomenon. Ebi mbeko. But then the question is, what kind of conditions ena omuko tenemu? Because they can say going into prison, no, a fine line. Anybody at all can end up in prison. A fine line. Because ebi kura na ntwa to so kura na de obekọ ho. So ahunti no church no actually say the reason why omo yes ade no is to decongest our prisons. Because onim be adwen say the more congestion in the prisons no eno na ma dodo no akoba na more hardened criminals. So I'm saying that no enti no they are trying to build more prisons, but the mesre say some handy over such facilities no to prison authorities now. Maintenance, one of the things they should look at. Aside that, and so no, some of them prison camps where they will have lands to do farming and other you kind of say aquaculture cra. Now said the prisoners no will not waste their lives, but they will be able to also work to help feed themselves and the state as well. Aside that, and also no, and I would like say, and going forward, no, the church never sense they should look at building it and building vocation centers within the prison. Because me kai say tamani esusuano juvenile prison na wo ho the nkwala nkito a omo enyi nu tell the omo ko major prison no na omo ya so de ne ade no omo ye de omo ko gu baabi na ye train I think say sabre no ye time de ne ye friend nkwala born in school sara na ye friend no but na eye juvenile prison a ewo ho. But I think say now no juvenile prisons I don't think say a year you might say can any be until now no you can even see 14 years 15 years people in jail with the adults. And I think say the church doing this almost decided say this is what they will do to decongest the prisons there. I was also suggest say they should look at the idea of adding vocational centers and also building for kind of saying juveniles. My delinquent was say prison, no, they can put them there under supervision for them to learn some kind of trader bar debate me about bra. Adeɛ baako nso I think say ɛda adi na ɔtwe a ɛtwa mu no ɛyɛ EPA foɔ nso nnwumadie bi a wɔn kɔdiiɛ. Da biara yɛka sɛ blue water guards ɛne NIMOS wɔn kɔ na wɔn akɔhye champagne esi nsuo no so na wɔn akɔhye. Na me question mebisa sɛ do they import it anaasɛ then sɛ wɔn import deɛ a adan na yɛ ma wɔn kwan ma wɔn de fa port hɔ ɛba knowing very well sɛ champagne no wɔn de kɔyɛ mining wɔ nsuo so. But I had the answer when EPA shut down 5 Chinese-owned warehouses at Anyankwanta in the Ashanti region over illegally storing and fabricating champagne machines. And it means almost the parts number fabricate Ghana haya na de akosi nsuo so. Until the EPA moved in to shut down that particular facility. I think say it's good. It's good because they didn't say Ghanaian facility, but Chinese. So why are we allowing them to come into our country and then allow them to also establish such businesses and then produce saa champagne no ne ade a ɛsɛ ɔman ɛsɛ yɛnsuo no. And most of the time no saa adeɛ wei no ɛnkɔ so without the collaboration of Ghanaians and the Chinese people. And I think say EPA not to just shut down and shut down the cancer the site, but those involved no, you're finding out if they don't have the permit and the necessary things, necessary documentation, they should be handed to the security services, not and daily, because to me, no, we need to try say ye excavator aspect of it, no, but the champagne aspect, no, ye much about it. Excavators, they say they are thinking about tracking it and all that. I get it. But champagne or the week, can we track it? So yeah, identify those places now. Use manufacture and fabricate champagne no. Near making sure say you be crack it down. Said yeah excavators now. So if there's a way say a bit me yet different thing apart from mining now, no yema yehunu na afi say a track here because I mean fan koye sara me koye different year na yehunu ade ba ko nso a mehunu a mani age hu ne say sa water pumps na galamseyes no use e de pumping nsuo ni ade ni na no, every one of which are every one of them are NIMOS ebe season no. After some time, no handing it to the ministries of agric to distribute to farmers. And I think it's a nice initiative, a bit to me, aboa. But then, you making sure say farmers now, will register them and then make sure say they are using the machines to do what they said they were going to use it for farming. Because enkoba say ebi echi na omo jiji ye na asan koton na omo galamsey fo na asan koton na omo san de ye galamsey no Ghana de bibia betimi asi enti no I think say the government should look at that na onhwe ehɔ no so na omo make sure say ye ma kwan emma obia enkoye ma sa ade no nsan kodi afoforo ensem. President John Dramani Mahama assign a director say the forensic audit ewo 13th All African Games na ebribia etwamu because the Auditor General na waman say onye sa forensic audit no na ade baako a ama mani age sisi ni say enka kane no obohu say president ne bae na Auditor General wo no or try say we pushing out, but I think say the president has tried his possible best to work with this Auditor General, and this Auditor General is also working wholeheartedly and exposing corruption and corruption related activities. I think say is good because Mitie Honorable Kesel Atufosin or finance minister no honorable say yema Auditor General forensic audit into the transfers outside Ghana edukoye importations between 2020 to 2025 no or say ye transfer $81 billion and a call abontain in the name of imports. But then forensic audit no only 50 million worth of goods buy inside the Ghana inside the country, which means that 31 billion was transferred out of the country. Amfa good niema bia amma country almost say ye kwako kra niema nti ye hia sa French ni beka say laissez passer anase ye hia omo friend no you know your friend saying ye hia krata efi bank no to guarantee say ye to niema no a mo betumi ye benya sa forest no e de ama omo nti they take sa letters no na omo de akọ but unfortunately no banks ni bi connive ye anase omo koludu ye with some importers ena already rape country no that amount of money $31 million ekoya amfa hwe ama $1 billion koya amfa hwe ama. And when that thing happens, it's a sign of money laundering. And to me, no, I think say if any banks are found culpable, say you involved in this, every sanction here say because I heard the finance minister say watchro the akoma you can say watchro the akoma Bank of Ghana say identify those banks no apply sanctions no. Ade ba kun so okan say importers ni bi importo niema ba na misclassify no na sa category no so misclassify niema to the extent say ye state ni lusu $11 billion nanka e was say 11 billion cedis, I think he said cedis nanka e was say revenue a ba country no in chain. But obebusa wo say sa misclassification na se for na omo ye eni sika omo de kwa omo fa import niema madi na no why for the Ghana for no. So that's why I say the leaders can lead, but if we as country as citizens anye ya adwene say ye beye de we will continue having problems as a country. And I think say it's good say President Mahama order say yenko into that na entimi yenhwe how the monies were spent and whether there was value for money and a course so all African games now, because some of the scanner na esusun because about $13 million was used to feed people. What were they eating? I don't know the kind of food they were eating around that short period. Adia bakunso in course of the last 2 weeks many ye when there was an attack at Hwidium a half region. Na attack ni mu allegedly na ye ka say MP ebika ho. I think say Stephen of MP your friend Ebenezer Kwaku Ado. The speed with which the government arrested Papa no, so to speak, while our privilege is there, but he was asked to report at the police station, the police headquarters. He did in the company of the majority leader, and almost taking his statement, and then they charged him for court, and he was granted 150,000 bail. Immediately now, party NDC party I try say condemn sa act and I think say this should serve a clear warning to all the NDC kind of saying parliamentarians and all the NDC functionaries say the way President Mahama because me kaise tamwa all appointed CEOs of the state agencies or can be say ukoye corruption be near chewa o friend onfa ye nemu wo correction scandal be more forget about it over friend the phone onfa. And I think say the speed with which omaye sadie we edi papa na ko gina court na mama no say onu meka na asem wo court ho na court no njeje nhwe say asem no ka ho ana onka ho no is very good, because to me na say ya anya hu bibia it was going to embolden the youth to continue to do whatever they want to do with the galamsey issue, which I think say it is not the best that to do, the best thing to do, because as I say all the time, no, say no, enema no nkɔ yie, enema no nkɔ yie papa, nti na ɛwɔ sɛ yɛhwɛ na yɛtumi ɛma saa system no yɛhyehyɛ ne yie na ɛtumi kɔ yie, na afei ɛnkɔyɛ sɛ da biara no politicians no ɛna yɛblame wɔn. Wɔn sɛ da biara na yɛka saa asɛm sɛ yɛka ɛyi no a yɛa ne yɛblame politicians no bebree, but sɛ wotie public accounts committee ne nneɛma a ɛkɔ so wɔ hɔ no a, you realize sɛ politicians no deɛ no ɛyɛ just a fraction, and even the technocrats and bureaucrats no more we are more say government no has decided say spending $1.2 billion in purchasing helicopters and jets. So the ama military no, just to make sure say military no be well equipped. And I think say some of them, some people have started arguing and have started saying, say, the government is not setting its priorities right. What the reason why they are saying that? They say almost say there are graduate nurses are young higher na any teachers, and you know, or say ye giant ye this is kind of baby shame near the higher. I agree. Say there are teachers that we have not hired them and all that. But then the question is, who created the backlog? Because if we knew, say, it will be a problem at a point, why did we created the backlog? And in any case, no, say employ or more, do we have vacancies in hospitals that we will put them? Because for estimates we have almost about 70,000 of them. And to me, it's good. Say a better employer, but then let's look at the infrastructure first. And I agree with the government. Say, this year, they are building 400 JHS, 400 primary schools, and all that, KGs. They are building all that. So, and the more they build all those schools for deprived areas, then you have, if say building 400 schools, now primary school 400 in various communities every one be a fat teacher for 6 plus the headmaster and a head teacher 7. So you have 7 people times 400 schools. And I think so the infrastructure should be there before we think about all those things. But to me, the American say, yen try say, yes, this year you be employ about 40,000 of them. That is what the government is saying. Say, military, police, fire service, and all that. I think say 4,000. Nipa be 4,000 across those security agencies. Government and so say to national fire service. I'm saying betena say we need to get fire tenders, and I think finance minister indicated say they are acquiring new fire tenders for them and also working with the private sector to also get high rise fire tenders. Because of said now see high rising buildings or country say ejato baby to me edi say jumano. I think that therefore by and large Ghana is beginning to work again. Opposition will always be opposition. Government in power will always be government in power. But then, beyond all the politics, let us come together, support our own, build our own. Said President Mahama Ekoye or Boris B. Chicken, no. Let us try to support and then do our best. Say yebeboa ama oman no akoso. I said the debi ameka no. Se wu som na me nso mi som. Na wo ye wa famu de na me ye ma famu de a. Surely the country will move forward and Ghana will be a better place for all of us to live. Ubusa majority of the people are already between 20 to 30 years were bruchra. Ombeka Chiro said they are tired. Senka Ghana is good, they would have gone back. And as we send our earnings to invest in Ghana, no, in terms of properties, the remittances no near the co. Na and also boa yetua nkrofo school fees yewe yenso eno so ye way a yenso ye dey build society no nti once a yenso ye te ha ye di sika ko ekoye investment wo mining na foreign exchange ni komu no yenso ye play ye quota so nti mo so a mo ti mu no se eba se ba bi a wo ti bia no ana ba bi a wo bia no ye wo nso wa fa mu de said ye be na oman no akoso we adehye ye mamomonity a enyado nyame ya adom na adom dom ye ne a ye besan ehye biom ye mamomonity a enyado
Samupe Sampa Bietia Chimafidi non kotu Era one radio Samupe Jumpa Bietia Chimafidi non kotu Era one radio